welcome back to Absolutely the Best Podcast of Work in Progress. I'm Zach, and with me today is my good friend George.
Hey.
This is Series 1, Episode 35, and today we are closing out Phase 4 of the MCU with our discussion on Black Panther, Wakanda Forever from November 11th, 2022. After we discuss the movie, we will figure out where to place it in our MCU movie ranking and our mission to figure out which one is absolutely the best. As a reminder, we assume the listener has seen the movie before, and of course, there will be spoilers. I am going to throw it to you for the movie memories, if that's all right.
Sure. Before this podcast, I really loved Black Panther. Mostly because it was just such a, I think writing wise, it was such a great movie. And all in all, I just really loved it. And Chadwick Boseman was just amazing in it. But yeah, I think the biggest hit the movie actually took was through the visual effects that we weren't really big fans of. Yeah, the CGI fight scenes. Uh-huh. Those were just like bad. But that was no knock on Chadwick Boseman or Angela Bassett or any of the actresses and actors really. But yeah, with his passing, man, that really hit a lot of people hard. Yeah. And to say that expectations were high for this movie, just definitely an understatement. I really wanted this movie to come out. And I really wanted it to be great. When they threw Namor into the mix, I think that kind of hyped things up even more for me. But yeah, just got cranked up a whole nother notch. And so I was really ready for this movie to come out when it did. I was pretty excited for it. Did it live up to what I was hoping for? That's totally a different question. But I did love and I really did appreciate all of the tributes to Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. This was the first MCU movie I did not see in the theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah. it didn't look good to me. Actually, there was a podcast I used to listen to, X-Ray Vision, something like that. It's a very popular podcast. So yeah. I'm sure anybody listening to this probably already listened to that, but they do like a complete spoiler on every MCU movie as it comes out, or they used to anyway. I don't know. I stopped listening because of this movie. I kept saying how awesome it was, but like even as they were describing it, I was like, that doesn't really sound very good. So I didn't bother going to see it in the theater. And then I eventually did catch it on streaming. And I remember when I was watching it, right off the bat, I was like, oh no, I made a mistake. I should have seen this in the theater. But then later on, I was like, no, I made the right call.
Yeah. Can I ask if you also felt guilty for not like just absolutely loving this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a lot of white guilt. I really wanted to like it. Like you said,
I can't say that was my problem because I really just wanted it to like it and it just fell short for me.
Yeah. You said your expectations were high. I did not have high expectations. And I still don't think that they were, I guess that's not right. To say I didn't have high expectations isn't correct. I think I was just like, I don't know how they're going to do this.
Right.
And so I don't really know what my expectation was, but the first time I watched it, it definitely was not met. I basically, my recollection was that it would go back and forth between being really good and pretty terrible. And I just watched it that one time. So I did actually buy it this time to at least support, I hope, somewhat Ryan Coogler and everyone who made this film. Because I do want to own all the MCU movies and stuff. So I did buy it this time, and on rewatch, I liked it a lot more than what I recall. It's still not great. I again really wanted it to be good. I did watch it a third time with the commentary by the director Ryan Coogler, and he's joined by writer Joe Robert Coyle and cinematographer Autumn Durald Arkapaw. It was not a worthwhile commentary.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was almost entirely comments like, this shot came out really great. And this was the first scene that we shot. This is a great transition. And it's pretty much the three of them jerking each other off the whole time. And I just wanted a little bit more kind of behind the scenes stuff of like, why certain things. Like I remember in the first one, there was a lot about like the color schemes and how like I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like I think I'm gonna say it was the color red was like the color of colonialism or whatever and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was stuff like that. And the first Black Panther commentary was really good and really interesting. And it
It's like
just didn't have it.
the
Didn't have
origin
it
of
this
the
one.
Dora Milaje is like their outfits and stuff was really awesome to
Yeah,
hear.
yeah. So, anyways, we can get on to the credits.
Yeah.
Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is the 30th movie in the MCU series. It was written by Ryan Coogler and Joe Robert Coyle. That's the same team as the first Black Panther. It was directed by Ryan Coogler, also the same as the first Black Panther. And so we've already talked about those guys in that episode when we covered that movie. The main characters, most of the original cast returns, notably Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa is missing and sorely missed. I can never say it enough, but R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
That was so tragic, taken so soon, too soon. We have some new characters. We have, I'm going to murder this guy's name. I apologize. Tenek Huerta Mahia as Namor.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. He plays Namor. Namor is kind of the main villain, although really white people are the villain. I don't know this guy from anything else. I think he's good in this, but I feel like there were some weird choices made for his character, not necessarily his choice.
Are you talking about the tiny wings on his feet?
Yeah, I mean, I know that's from the comics, right?
No, I don't know. Is it? Because that was
so.
that was a bone I had to pick.
Yeah, we will be picking that bone.
Yeah.
Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams. She is and heavy air quotes here, genius inventor. And I do not get the genius inventor vibe from Dominique Thorne. I'm sure it's partly the writing, but I was having a tough time with that character. She's okay, but she's got some real bad lines in this.
Yeah, I really feel like the writing didn't do her enough justice because she is one of the smartest. Like, I think she's considered one of the smartest people in the Marvel universe. But yeah, the writing did not do her that much justice. Also, the Power Ranger suit that came later did not do her much justice.
So, that's pretty much it for the new people. Of interest, apparently Cougar had drafted an entire script.
You're missing one.
I'm missing one. Who?
Yeah, the lady from Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, but didn't we talk about her before?
Oh right. She was in another movie.
Yeah, Elaine Bennett.
My bad.
What's the actress's name?
I just keep remembering her from Seinfeld.
She's great. She is great.
Yeah.
And I do have some notes on her later. But yeah, we talked about her in at the end of Black Widow, I think. And probably because didn't she pop into one of the TV shows when we discussed those?
Yeah. And she's going to be in Thunderbolts.
Yep. Anyways, so Coogler had drafted a script with T'Challa, played by Chadwick Boseman. He had the entire draft completed, I guess, and he didn't know that Chadwick Boseman was sick, like everyone else. Only found out when he died. I thought that was interesting. I mean, I don't want to be mad at Chadwick Boseman for not saying anything, but a lot of people left hanging. I don't know. So, anyways, with that,
it's a choice.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. You got to be in those. You got to be in that position to make that choice, I suppose. So, with that, let's get on to the main discussion. The movie opens with Shuri trying to heal T'Challa. They never say what he's sick with. Probably a good call.
Yep.
She's trying to synthesize the heart-shaped herb to give to him. Recall that N'Jadaka had burned it all up in Black Panther 1. I get what they're going for here, but wouldn't that just un-Black Panther him? Like, wasn't that the whole thing with in the first one when what's his name challenges? Oh, I guess there's two challenges in there.
Right.
But if somebody challenges for the throne, then he has to un-Black Panther and then fight with his regular human strength, and then whoever wins becomes Black Panther, right?
Yep.
And don't they just do that by drinking the heart-shaped herb again? Which I think is dumb that would undo what it already did. But that's how it works, right? Anyways. So I thought that didn't quite add up. But
that's also why it failed, right? Because it wasn't really it wasn't really working from like the act, like something that actually was born from vibranium.
What she was trying
Was
to
it?
what she was trying
Yeah,
to synthesize. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, she didn't.
yeah,
I mean, she didn't even give him. Didn't even get a chance to give it to him.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's too late, and he dies. And so Killmonger did defeat T'Challa. Technically,
But they didn't say if his injury was because of that, right?
he burned up all the heart shaped herb. Couldn't save
Yeah, yeah,
himself.
that's true. Yeah, yes. Nakia should have grabbed more than one.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm still mad at Nakia for that. Man, Nakia was kind of shitty in this, to be honest.
In this movie?
Some of the things that she did, like she disappeared for 6 years or whatever, right?
Mm.
And then like didn't tell anybody that T'Challa has a son, but apparently he knew. I don't know. We'll get into that. But yeah, so that's kind of a bummer opening, but I appreciate that they nipped that in the bud ASAP instead of like
Yeah.
trying to do like a computer generated Chadwick Boseman or something.
That would have definitely led to riots.
Yes. I also am a sucker for a plot point where one character is so busy trying to save another character that they miss whatever time they had left together, which is what happens there with Shuri.
Yeah.
So there's a very nice funeral service, which I feel like is also for the fans. And then you have the Chadwick Boseman Marvel logo montage there at the beginning. That was really nice. And it was, there was no music or anything, right? It's just clips of him. So then it's 1 year later at the United Nations in Switzerland. Ramonda walks in, Queen Ramonda walks in like a boss, and some white people look nervous. Basically, the UN members, especially the white ones, are a little butthurt that Wakanda hasn't been sharing the vibranium. And I really liked what Ramonda had to say here.
It has always been our policy to never trade vibranium under any circumstance. Not because of the dangerous potential of vibranium, but because of the dangerous potential of you.
Which I totally agree with. Meanwhile, at the Wakandan Outreach Center in Nsango, Mali, some Terries try to rob the joint of the vibranium weapons.
What was vibranium weapons doing at an outreach center, though?
That's a good point. Maybe they just stashed them there, but yeah, that seems like a dumb place to hide them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they tried, but it was a setup, and it turns out that Okoye and some other Dora Milaje are there, and they just fuck these guys up.
Yeah, they did.
Easily. The would-be robbers are turned in at the UN, and Queen Ramonda basically says, if anyone else tries some shit, they're going to die. And Angela Bassett is great.
I loved her in this entire movie. She's like my favorite. I got pissed when she died.
Yeah, I know.
I was not a fan of that. I was like, why of all the people did you guys kill her?
Yeah. No, she and, what's her name? Okoye, who's the, Danae.
Danae, yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okoye, though.
Yeah. Both of them are fantastic in this movie. They're really, really good.
M'Baku was awesome too. I mean, we're jumping ahead. We're jumping ahead by a lot, but
I think one of my notes
we're talking about people we love.
I think one of my notes is like, I love this guy who plays M'Baku.
Yeah.
Elsewhere on a research rig in the Atlantic Ocean, they may have found some vibranium on the ocean floor, and so 2 divers go down. I have a unit gripe. One of the divers says the cabin pressure is stable at -1 psi. And he should have said PSIG because negative PSI is not a thing. You can't go below 0 pressure. PSIG is relative to atmospheric pressure at sea level, which is 14.7 PSI. So I could go on, but I won't. The divers locate the vibranium deposit, but their lighting equipment loses power. And this is kind of decent underwater horror here, which is one of my favorite genres.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of like Deep Star 6 or Leviathan.
Ooh, Leviathan.
Yeah.
I remember that. Amanda Peet.
Yeah.
I was a big fan.
Is it? Yeah, it is Amanda Peet. Yeah, that's right. Big fan here as well. Both divers get killed, and then a bunch of ocean people start singing, and folks on the rig start jumping off in a trance, except for 2 of them that are smart enough to put in earplugs. but they also have no trouble hearing one another speak, which is weird.
I was gonna say, like, how did they hear each other?
Yeah.
But they were like, put in earplugs. It's like, what?
And they're just like talking at normal volume. And it wasn't like an earpiece for like a radio. They're just like earplugs. Anyways.
Right.
So at this point, they think it's Wakandans attacking. One of the smart people who put in the earplugs is the supposed inventor of the vibranium detector, played by Lake Bell. She barely escapes in a chopper while the boat is overrun with superhuman fish people. I just keep calling them fish people. They don't look like fish. You should have seen the movie anyway. You should know what I'm talking about.
They're not. They're not called Atlanteans at all in this movie.
They're not. But I think in the comics they were Atlanteans, right?
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna keep saying fish people.
Fair.
So she's she's escaping, and I don't know what was more impressive, the number of bullets that one of these fish people can take point blank to the chest and face, or the number of rounds in her one handgun. Like how many it can hold.
Did you count them?
No, but it was way more than like, I don't know how many can you put in a handgun. I figured 9.
Like 9,
maybe 15. Yeah. I don't know. But she was just unloading on people point blank. So just as Lake Bell radios in that it's not the Wakandans attacking, the chopper goes down and it looks like a flying fish man did it. And I think it's pretty good up to this point.
Yeah. No, I was a fan.
It continues to be good for a bit longer too, actually.
I was going to actually ask you if you can call them fish people. I keep calling them Atlanteans because in my head that's what they are. Yeah. But if the Atlanteans are living at depths that would crush you, does that make you bulletproof?
That's an interesting point.
From a physics standpoint.
I don't think so, but I don't
maybe
know.
Not like sniper rifle bulletproof, but like 9mm bullet.
Well, I think I think the reason that whales can dive pretty deep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's a good question. Well, I don't think it would make you bulletproof, but we do see later on that they can regenerate.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that
when Atuma was like, pick yourselves up and go mess with those other people.
Yeah. Anyways, back in Wakanda, Queen Ramonda is watching TV. There's a news clip of Anderson Cooper. And he recaps all the things that just happened at the UN. The Wakandans brought in the would-be robbers and we're like, stop trying to take our vibranium. That just happened. We don't need a recap. I don't know what that was about. And it's she's watching it. Queen Ramonda's watching it. She was there.
Right. So Anderson Cooper's got to get his bag, man.
I guess so. I no shade against Anderson Cooper, but that was just an unnecessary scene in a very long movie. So Ramonda goes to see Shuri in her lab. She is not a fan of Griot, apparently. I was going to say I'm Team Ramonda on that one, not trusting AI, but I just saw some really funny AI video, politically charged AI generated videos today that were really funny. I was like, okay, maybe AI is not that bad. It's horrible. It's not going to do us any good, but whatever.
It's not the toe sucking one, is it?
No, but it's along those lines though.
Okay.
So there's still no progress on the herb. Shuri thinks that new tech is more important anyway. Ramonda says there needs to be a new Black Panther, but Shuri says the Black Panther is a relic. Then they go to chat about T'Challa around a campfire. And here Ramonda tells Shuri how she did a ritual and felt T'Challa's presence. And I don't know about you, but I could relate to Shuri's pragmatism.
I found your brother in the breeze, pushing me gently but firm, like his hand on my shoulder. Took some time, but he was there.
He wasn't there, Mother. The presence that you felt was just a construct of your mind. Brought on so you could feel some comfort or joy. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, yeah, that's how it works.
Like you didn't. I feel like that's how. Not
most
to be
religion
controversial, but I feel like that's religion in general. For a lot of people.
Yeah. Shuri is clearly still grieving her brother's death.
The entire movie.
My phone started talking to me. That's going to happen every time I say Shuri because apparently that's too close. So now they're interrupted by the flying fish man. This is Namor. I hate his itty bitty ankle wings.
Not a fan.
I would have preferred that he just had no wings and he just magically floats. That would have been easier for me to accept.
I would have been okay with tiny wings on his back that were just there.
Yeah.
Then they should have just taken the liberty and said, hey, this is the MCU. Wings didn't make much sense on paper. Let's just get rid of them. But I liked his character. I thought he was pretty great.
Yes, for the most part. I agree with you there. So the real surprise here for Ramonda and Shuri was that no one should be able to just get into Wakanda. Presumably he got in through the waters, which are they not also secured? Because if not, why has nobody done that before? Somebody could have done that in like a submarine or something. I don't know.
Maybe there was like a river that wasn't secured somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. So I feel like somebody would have found that already, but yeah, that's pretty minor grape.
Well, but the world doesn't know where Wakanda is, period, right?
I guess not.
Like they just know it's in general in these uncharted forest areas, and they're not sure where it is.
You might be right there. Namor wants Wakanda to join forces with his people to prevent anyone else from finding vibranium again. He's got a point. Wakanda and the Black Panther, T'Challa, Black Panther, demonstrated to the world what vibranium can do, and now the rest of the world is motivated to find some.
Yep.
Namor wants them to find the scientists who made the vibranium detector, and he makes a not so vague threat about what will happen if they refuse. And he gives them a conch shell to call them by, and then swims away. I don't think that conch shell comes into play at all in the rest of the movie, does it? Like they never used it.
I thought that they did. I thought that they did at some point when the Queen came to distract him while Nakia kidnapped.
Maybe
that's what I assumed that she used to get him to come.
They
over.
just didn't show her use it. Okay, yeah.
It's hard to take anybody seriously blowing into a conch shell.
It was probably best not to show that.
Right.
And then I guess as a show of strength and stealthiness, Namor's people had snuck the vibranium detector behind Ramonda and Shuri while they were busy talking to him. I don't know. They just turned around and they're like, oh my God, there it is.
Also, like, hey, your security sucks.
Yes, apparently.
It might have been pretty good against regular people, but this gigantic mechanism thing just went through all your security measures undetected. So
back in the throne room, M'Baku was presumably summoned because the border had been breached. And man, M'Baku steals this scene. I love how cocky he is.
Dude, he steals every scene he's in. Yeah, I love that dude.
Winston Duke, he's great. Yeah. I want to see him in more stuff. There's a lot of talk about what to do since there's no Black Panther. We get the requisite recap of the prior movie. They let N'Jadaka take the throne and he burned up all the heart-shaped herb, blah, blah, blah.
It's like, you guys let him take the throne. You let him take the throne.
He's like walking around chomping on this carrot. That's pretty funny. Yeah. M'Baku suggests finding and killing Namor because if they do what Namor asks, he'll just ask for more. Hard agree there. That's how extortion works.
I mean, Namor should ask for Canada.
Yeah. No comment. Ramonda and Okoye go see Shuri in the lab where she's taking apart the vibranium detector. She seems impressed by the technology. I have a issue with the line about the altered frequency of vibranium. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. It just seemed like a placeholder line that they forgot to go back and fix.
Well, anytime you alter the frequency of something, it sounds sciencey.
I guess so. If you're just to non-science people.
Yes.
they posit that maybe more than one meteorite containing vibranium hit the Earth, and that's what Namor and his people have access to. I would have said it was probably more likely that the meteorite broke up on reentry, but this is also acceptable, I suppose.
Yeah.
Then, let's see. Okoye and Shuri go to see Everett Ross in Alexandria, Virginia. Regular CIA agent Everett Ross. I don't know about you, but I hate the Chili Peppers song that plays when they cut to him like jogging through the woods, that Can't Stop song.
The Give It Away song.
No, that
That's-
would have been way better. It's this. This is more recent than that. It's called "Can't Stop." I don't want even
okay.
want. I think it's popping into my head, but I don't. I don't
I was
even.
like, sing it to me.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it to myself, let alone you or any of the listeners. In general, I think that Chili Peppers are kind of mid. They have like 3 songs. They have like under the bridge sounding songs, songs that sound like the one in this scene, and then some older stuff that's a little bit more punk or a little more funky.
Yeah.
Every one of their songs is basically some version of that. So they're kind of But I thought that it was actually a perfect song choice for Ross to be listening to. And this is something I was hoping would be in the commentary, because I was like, if this is Ryan Coogler's idea of a joke about white people music, then he nailed it. But I didn't say anything about it. Anyways, Shuri and Okoye accost Ross while he's out for a jog in the woods. They ask him about the scientist who built the vibranium detector. He tells them about the mining ship manned by the CIA and SEALs that was attacked. They have a strong suspicion who is behind it, but they don't want to give Ross anything. Shuri and Okoye have a strong suspicion.
Wait, were they told already by then not to tell anybody about the Atlanteans?
I don't remember, but I'm assuming yes.
'Cause I remember Namor distinctly told the Queen that, but except I can't remember if it was when he first met her or if it was the second time that they talked.
I don't remember.
Maybe
either.
that was why she didn't just say like, "Oh, it was this dude
Yeah.
with the tiny wings on his feet."
You can't miss him.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yes, they didn't want to tell Ross anything about that, and he does owe Shuri and T'Challa for saving his spine, literally. So he tells them about a college kid who built the vibranium detector, and he says that the United States is going to be after her to build another. So there was a number of things here that jumped out at me.
Mhm.
Why isn't the U.S. already after this college student to build another one? It's like they're going to be after her.
I don't know why they didn't just build a bunch of them after the first one was delivered.
Right? Have somebody make a schematic of that, or get it from her.
Right.
I do like the misdirect here because it seemed like Lake Bell built it, and we're going to find out in a minute what exactly happened. And I also like this turn for Ross. Like, he was such a dick in Civil War, and then he starts to come around a bit in the first Black Panther movie. And here, by the end of the movie, he's pretty dedicated to the Wakandans. So
yeah, he's good he's all good with like, hey, like these people haven't done anything. Like, why are we jumping on them all for like no reason?
Yeah. It would have been easy to make him just flip flop and be a dick again. The location shifts to the MIT campus in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Obviously, Okoye and Shuri have reservations about handing over a student to Namor. Shuri goes and talks to Riri, which is the student in question. She talks to her in her dorm room, asking about the vibranium detector she built for the CIA. Riri is a bit taken aback because she made it for her metallurgy class, and her professor said she'd never be able to do it. So this is what I was talking about. I like that. It seems that Lake Bell must be her professor and is basically taking credit for the work that Riri did. And I like that the movie has confidence to just let you figure that out and not have a line explaining that.
Oh, you mean you didn't miss the exposition, the over voice?
Was that in the director's cut?
Some sort. Yeah, the narration that was basically, "Oh my God, it wasn't her."
Yeah. God damn it, white people! Why is she's stealing this black lady's work? So in no uncertain terms, they convince Riri to go with them, and they make a quick stop at a garage for Riri's laptop. And as a computer guy, did you have the same gripe as me here with the specific line about her computer security?
Man,
you didn't catch it.
I've started ignoring computer lines from
She's
from
like,
the MCU.
She goes, I got 2065 byte encryption.
I definitely ignored that one.
So I'm assuming she fumbled the line and they didn't do a retake, and it was supposed to be 256 bit. They should have caught that and done another take. Yeah. 2065 byte. That was a good one.
I think I was getting myself ready to see her suit, because I like this version better than the Power Rangers version.
Well, in this one, you only ever see in the dark too, so holds up a little bit better in the VFX.
That's true.
So the FBI show up for them. Riri takes her homemade Iron Man suit. It's called Ironheart, right?
Yep.
Or she Ironheart? Or
yeah.
Yes. Okoye and Shuri borrow Riri's car and motorcycle, and the cops chase them all. And then we get the stupid. I can't even say it.
Which
I want to like Riri, but I can't. She's going after some drone.
Okay, I knew you were gonna make fun of.
Yeah, she says to herself,
"Come on, Riri, gotta find these differential equations."
And I get that they're trying to make her sound like a genius. It's not working. Like nobody would ever say that to themselves.
Was it like wasn't she also looking for something called the Euler?
Euler vector something. I have that. It's coming up. That was actually credit on that one. We'll get to that. It'd be like 1 minute. So I had more science OCD ranting. This is a bit of a deep dive. This falls under things that are easy to Google, and they should have Googled them. Griot says oxygen levels are at 55%, and Riri goes 28,000 feet. So for starters, there's only 21% oxygen at sea level. But I'll be nice and I'll assume that they meant 55% of sea level oxygen, right? So I like the units of torr. That's a pressure. We'll use 160 torr of oxygen is 100%. Okay. At 28,000 feet, there's about 55 torr of oxygen, which is 34%, not 55%. But I wonder if they saw that like 55 torr and they were like, that must be percent. But you could just Google this stuff. Then shortly after that, Griot says it's now 30%, which is actually pretty close. And it's possible that the time it takes to say these things accounts for the discrepancy. So then I calculated how fast you would need to be traveling to have it drop in oxygen that amount in that amount of time. And it's like Mach 1.2 without a helmet. So that's not it.
I thought your gripe was going to be how Griot took control of a muscle car. That had no computer circuitry in it whatsoever.
Yes, there's more.
Okay,
there is more. You know what? That actually, I did not have that specific gripe, but I have something similar, and that is an excellent point. So it gets worse. Eventually, Griot says oxygen 0%. I'm assuming they don't mean zero because that's a total vacuum. But let's say less than 0.5%. That doesn't happen unless you're like well over 100,000 feet. And fun fact, the water in her lung tissues would be boiling at that altitude. On the plus side, this is what you were saying, the partial credit for pronouncing, I almost said it wrong, for pronouncing Euler correctly. It's Euler. That's pronounced Euler, not Euler.
Not Euler, okay.
Yeah. She says something about needing to adjust her Euler angles. And it's too much math and physics for me, but it does seem to be an appropriate use of that term. It's for coordinates of moving things on a spherical grid.
Over
and
a
stuff.
spherical body, yeah.
So that was like above my pay grade. So, but I knew how to pronounce Euler, and they did that right. So give credit where it's due. But I'm not done. This is less sciencey. Along the lines of what you were saying, not just how does Griot take control of a Mustang that has, no computer circuitry to drive it really.
Right.
How does she have Griot in her suit? Like in her Ironheart suit, Shuri stuck a wireless transmitter in her ear so they could communicate, right. But that's like not tying the AI into the suit or anything. And Shuri slapped this big device on the car for Griot to control it, but never did that to the suit.
Right. Yeah, wait, you're talking about Shuri's suit or the Ironheart
no,
suit?
The Ironheart suit. Because Griot's talking to Ironheart, telling her like how much oxygen she has left.
I thought that was just all coming from her head, her earpiece.
Maybe, but how does he know? It's just an earpiece. I guess
it's a very advanced.
All right, I guess the earpiece could have an oxygen sensor.
It could be a morphing Okoye bead that she shoved into her ear.
She doesn't have a helmet on, so it would have access to how much oxygen. Okay, I stand corrected. All right. It's an S-tier movie, George. You convinced me. Okay. I have to retract that gripe. So I guess I am done. So back to the movie. In the
We haven't even gotten to the water scenes, man.
I know. It's a long movie. So Riri
Yes.
in the Ironheart suit takes out the drone that was chasing her, and then did she kill 3 cop cars full of cops with it?
I
Like,
don't
she
know.
throws
See,
it.
that's where I was confused. Is like, how did she intentionally shoot it down so that it would hit and crash land on the bridge like that?
I don't know about that, but I just thought it was interesting that she like just took out 3 cop cars. I'm like, I'm pretty sure there were some cops in there.
Right.
So now she's wanted for murder. No time for any of that though, because the fish people attack and take down all 3 of the ladies, but only momentarily for Okoye, who gets up and fights all of the fish people.
Yes.
And then this is where
and
we
does
find out-
really well.
Yeah, she's great. Good fighting scene here, actually.
Yeah.
And it turns out that she can it turns out that they can regenerate. That she like takes them all out, and then they all stand back up, and all their wounds heal, and all that.
Yep.
Then Okoye gets knocked into the water, and Shuri comes to, demands to speak to Namor, and that they don't kill Riri. And I was like, hey, don't forget about Okoye. Can you have somebody go fish her out of the water, please?
How did you like those water grenades, by the way?
I hated them. It was so bad.
Okay. I was curious how like you were liking them.
I have a gripe on that later. I didn't realize they used them here.
Yeah, because that's how they knocked Okoye off the bridge.
Okay.
He threw one at her and then it exploded.
Okay. I think I was busy jotting down other notes and forgot that, but I definitely have a bit of a rant on that in a bit.
Okay.
It was a problem.
I was asking because they figure so prominently and they're nowhere near as cool as the black hole grenades.
Oh yeah.
From Thor 2.
Point. Yeah. They should I would have been fine if they just had black hole grenades. It wouldn't have made any sense, but it would have been better than the water grenades.
Yes.
In the light of day, Ross shows up to the crime scene investigation, and who else is there but Valentina de Fontaine? This is the Elaine Bennis character. Sorry, I can't remember your real name, actress lady. I totally forgot that she was in this, actually. I'd also forgot that she's CIA and that they are exes. Her and Ross, that is.
Yes.
So Ross finds and pockets Shuri's Kimoyo beads that she had lost, or I don't know, maybe she left them behind to be found. That wasn't clear to me.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
That's it.
It was
Thank
bugging
you.
me too.
Did you Google it or did you just remember?
Yeah, just now. I just Googled it.
Oh,
Julia
okay.
Louis-Dreyfus.
You cheated. Okoye must have gotten out of the water because back in Wakanda, she relays what happened to all the tribes. Ramonda strips her of her rank and kicks her out of the Dora Milaje. And this is
like one of my favorite scenes.
This is the peak of the movie, I think. I said maybe the best part of the movie. It's some Oscar-worthy shit. It was so good. Denai Guerrera and Angela Bassett, they were unbelievable here. Really, really, really good scene. Ramonda has Griot track Shuri's Kimoyo beads, which of course puts her in touch with Ross. I thought it was kind of a weird cut right when Ramonda calls Ross on the Kimoyo beads. It was like too fast or something. It was weird. It was like it was going to a different scene. And I mean, technically it was, but it's...
I was still recovering from the previous scene.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe I was still reeling.
Not to belabor that scene because I just love it so much, but I remember when that scene was unfolding, I was kind of like rooting for Okoye. And then when Angela Bassett's character starts going in on like, oh, you lost everything. I was like, oh shit. And I was like, yeah, you get out of there.
Yeah.
I was like, because I loved both of their characters, and they're just great. That's such a great scene.
I felt that it was unfair that she got kicked out. I mean, I get it. That was a big loss, but who is going to be better equipped to fix that mistake than Okoye?
Yeah. That's where I was coming from.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was just like, she's the best person to spearhead rescuing her.
Totally. So Ramonda talks to Ross on the Kimoyo beads, and she basically tells him nothing, and says that he needs to alert her if the CIA decides to come after them. I think even without Ross's help, I don't think it would end well for the CIA.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Nakia has been living in Haiti, running a Wakandan outreach program there. Queen Ramonda pays her a visit. Just as I was thinking, hey, where was she when T'Challa died?
She explains it.
Yeah, because I was thinking, oh, maybe she was right by his side and we don't know because they never show T'Challa. But then they dropped the knowledge that she skipped his funeral and that she's been gone 6 years.
Yeah.
I think that her and T'Challa were together. This is what I was able to put together in terms of a timeline. I think they were together. He knocked her up before Infinity War, and then he blipped, and so she went to Haiti. But
oh, that's right, 5 years.
Yeah, but she must have seen him when he came back, right? When he blipped back or whatever, because
Probably.
she at the end she says that she's talking to Shuri with her son. She's like, his father prepared us for his death, blah blah blah. So she must have, at the very least, had a phone call with him.
Yeah.
But anyways, and I don't know. I just thought it was weird that she didn't go to see him when he was gonna die, and didn't take his son to see him. I don't know. That was weird to me. So, anyways, Ramondo recruits Nakia to go infiltrate the fish people and rescue Shuri. There's another weird cut here to where Shuri is. I felt like they needed to linger on the previous scene for like 1 second longer. No back padding in the commentary there. Shuri and Riri wake up in a cave where the fish people tend to them. Riri did win me over a little bit when the Atlanteans gave Shuri a dress to change into.
That is some super villain shit right there. That's in every movie. Princess Leia, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, that white chick from Indiana Jones.
Which is unfortunately a reference you don't get yet because you haven't seen it.
Because I haven't seen it.
In the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, Nakia works on some leads. Shuri meets with Namor. He tells Shuri his family history.
How did you like that, by the way?
This is.
Are you okay with this history, this flashback arc?
Oh yeah, this was totally fine. And actually, I really liked this part of the movie. Again, other than the wings on the feet thing, I like this a lot. I think it's based on real life theory. So it kind of hits extra hard because of that. Yeah. So the story is that Spanish conquistadors brought smallpox to his mother's village. They're Mayans, by the way. Chak, the god of rain and abundance, gave the Mayan shaman a vision of a way to save his people, and he was led to a blue plant in the ocean. And it seems kind of like the heart-shaped herb kind of thing.
Yep.
The people of the village all ingested the plant, including his mother, who was pregnant with Namor at the time. To be fair, she was reluctant about it, but they tricked her into it by saying her baby was sick and that this would heal the baby. And they also promised that her baby would be the new king. That part was not a trick. They owned up to that.
Yeah.
And then this turned them all into bluefish people. Did you notice that they seem to just give up on the blue makeup when they're in the water? It's like
I was actually curious. I was going to ask you about that. If it was because their skin was blue that it shifts normal color, or it looks normal underwater
you look that color. They look the same color as normal people in water do to me. So I don't know. Maybe that's like, a trick of their skin, in the movie world. But
I was confused about that. Yeah. But I also was not a fan of like them instantly growing gills after drinking the water.
No, yeah. It wasn't great. But what are you going to do? Supposedly because for movie logic purposes, because his mother drank the stuff from the herb while she was pregnant with him, blah, blah, blah. He's able to breathe water and air, and he has winged feet for some reason.
And he's also super strong.
Super strong.
Even stronger than them.
P.S. He also ages slower. So
yeah.
When his mom died, Namor had promised to bury her in the soil of their homeland. And when he returned there to do so, it had basically become a plantation where Whitey had enslaved all the people of the other villages. So they killed Whitey, burned their buildings, set the villagers free, and then buried Namor's mom.
Killed the priest there too.
Yep. And I this part I really like too. The origin story of his name.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really like that. I was like, oh, damn, that's really clever.
Yeah. So the Spanish priest in his dying moments said something to him that means you are a child without love, but he said it in Spanish, and it's
sin amor.
Yeah, el niño sin amor. So without love is sin amor, and it sounds like Namor at the end. So I like that a lot. That was cool. I couldn't really find the name origin for the comics. I guess it was just like Roman backwards.
For Namor?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
And it supposedly means avenging sun in whatever language or whatever that's in the comic. But I don't know. I like this a lot. This was a lot cooler.
S stands for hope in my planet too.
Yeah. Not everybody's ideas are good.
Yeah.
So he starts using Namor as his name, and he has no love for the surface world. He wants Shuri to understand why he needs to kill the scientists, meaning Riri. And not going to lie, I kind of want him to at this point. Shuri counters with, what if I took you to Wakanda? Which I don't know what the upside there is for him. So he says, hell no. And she says, let me see your village. So she puts on one of those Deep Star 6 ocean suits and they dive way down into the village at the bottom of the ocean.
I really like that scene too, where he was like, no, if you go down there, you're going to get crushed instantly, or we can just give you a suit.
Yeah.
That
they happen to have on hand. Right.
Yep.
So his village is called Talokan. I was a little confused by like the ocean wormhole thing.
Oh, I thought it was like the ocean currents, like in what's that movie with the turtles? Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
Where like crush, and a bunch of the sea turtles, like they jump into that east ocean something current.
I feel like this was a lot faster than that. But then is it just him? Faster. Yeah. Is it just him controlling the water? Because I'll buy that.
I don't think it was him controlling the water. I think they were just jumping in. He was pushing her into it or pulling her with him.
Get out then. I don't know.
Huh?
How would you get back essentially?
Well, I'm assuming there's a current going in the opposite way.
Maybe conveniently.
Yes.
Anyways, so
it would suck to have to ride it around the world to come back to.
Yeah, it might take a while. So, anyways, that kind of threw me out of the movie for a minute there. Also, the sun made of vibranium or whatever. Like he says that he made a sun. I don't know if it's a literal sun, but it was like this bright light.
Yeah.
And he says it's made of vibranium, and it just I don't like that vibranium is whatever you need it to be, whatever you need it to do. It's like this magical material now.
I mean, the city looked cool. I loved it. I thought it looked great. The explanations were left a lot to be desired, though.
Yeah.
I was also a fan that nobody swam the way that they do in Aquaman, where they look like they have propeller feet or something. In like Aquaman, because you know how like over there they're like, oh, we don't know how to make it look cool when you swim, so we just made everybody swim super fast. I was kind of glad that they didn't do that here, but at the same time, there are scenes where Namor is clearly swimming way faster than normal, and
I did not take too much notice.
It.
Yeah, I didn't take too much notice of how they swam. So it wasn't on this watch. It wasn't until this point that the movie really started to lose me.
Oh, really?
And then, unfortunately, it didn't do a whole lot to win me back from here on out.
Wait, what was it that was starting to make you lose you?
Just like the water current thing, the vibranium sun, Riri's annoying.
Riri and Shuri together were so annoying to me.
Yes.
They were the low point of the movie. I get that they were trying to make her like this vessel of grief and like redemption or something, or revenge and vengeance, but I was just getting too annoyed with her like the entire time.
Yeah.
Even when she was splitting up, like, we have to split up. Hey, your bodyguard, you should be sticking with her. What are you doing?
Yeah. Bad decisions were made.
For sure, yeah.
Meanwhile, Nakia tracks the location of Shuri's earrings. Queen Ramonda tells her to retrieve the princess by any means necessary. So Nakia dives down towards the cave where Riri is. Then in Talokan, Namor and Shuri talk some more. He wants to know if Wakanda is an ally or an enemy. He says they should go to war with the rest of the world, and if Wakanda doesn't go along with it, they are the first to go. He claims his people are prepared and that he wants them to burn the world together.
I'm on board with it. I mean, I understood his motives. I mean,
yes, yeah.
As like, even as the antagonist in the film, because he has been keeping his people like shielded for so long from the outside.
Yeah.
Right.
So while that's going on, Ross is trying to convince his superiors that Riri isn't a threat. They say the president wants to take an offensive action against Wakanda to destabilize them. Ross tries to buy some time, noting that Wakanda is well suited to whip everyone's asses. And then he sneaks away to give Ramonda a heads up. Then Ramonda meets with Namor on a beach. She tries to threaten him, but he's not threatenable. And he threatens her right back. Nakia finds Shuri and Riri in the cave. So I guess Shuri had been taken back there at some point. They don't show that happen. Then what's up?
No, just thinking in my head, like the reversal of it would be pretty hard to explain. Like there just happens to be another ocean current that goes in the opposite direction.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think he can control the current, but I don't know. Because don't they like flood Wakanda at some point? They got to have some kind of control.
They do, but I thought that was from like their crazy water bombs and the whales and stuff.
Some of it
like
was
flipping their fins or something on the outside.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Could be. So Nakia finds Shuri in the cave. Nakia fatally wounds a fish lady in the rescue process, which Shuri is rightfully scared will mean war. I also thought it was weird because the fish people can regenerate. So why was this lady?
Didn't it have something to do with the sonic blast she hit them with?
Oh, maybe there's a lot of.
She said she called out specifically. Oh, it was a sonic something or other, and
okay,
it's like, oh, this is gonna do something to her.
Yeah, the Black Panther movies tend to lean into the sonic stuff.
Yeah, my gripe on that's coming up, and in the last battle.
Great, can't wait for it. So then the 3 Wakandan women ascend to the surface quite rapidly, I should say, and they all die from the bends, and that's the end of the movie. But what?
Hey man, didn't Nakia's little submarine looked like it was enough to protect them from the bends?
It doesn't matter. Like you go down in the water, you have the pressure from it. Like,
I know. It's just
okay.
It was like this little tiny skeleton thing. It looked really cool, but
it was
there was
cool,
no way that it was gonna.
Yeah. So what really happens though is that at the surface they are picked up by Ramonda in her ship. The dying fish lady tells Namor that it was the Wakandans. I feel like that was obvious. And so it's on now. And Namor rallies his people to go to war. I was at this point, I was like, how are these fish people talking through water masks or in the water in general?
So I didn't get that either because he did something with that staff that he pounded on when he was making his announcement.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden people could like yell through the water.
Yeah, like your vocal cords won't work that way.
Huh?
Your vocal cords wouldn't work. Like if they're filled with water, it's like if you have a helium balloon, right? And you breathe that in and you talk and it's like really high pitch. So if you do that with sulfur hexafluoride, which is safe to breathe, I mean, you would asphyxiate if you only breathe that, but you breathe that in, it makes your voice really deep because it's such a dense gas. But the water, like if you could breathe water, which you can't, but if you could, you would not be able to talk. It would not make any audible noise.
Right. I did like his suit though, that war chief headdress or whatever it was when he was coming down.
Oh,
he was like declaring war.
Yeah.
I thought he looked really like a badass there.
Yeah, I did like Namor for the most part.
Yep.
Back in Wakanda, again, they prepare for war as well. Shortly thereafter, the fish people attack, mostly just flooding Wakanda. The TLDR is that Wakanda is no match and gets pwned.
Yep.
I was kind of tuning out here for a bit. I did notice that the fish people did the singing thing and made people walk into the water again.
Yep.
In the end of the battle, Namor attacks Ramonda directly with some water bombs. This is where I had my water bomb gripe. It's just like this little, I don't know, probably not even baseball sized.
Is it compressed water?
It's like exactly. It's so dumb. It explodes into like 1,000 times the volume of it. Yeah, but in water,
like each one is a pool's worth of
water. That's not how it works, man. Maybe not everything needs to be water themed here.
Yeah. I also did not like that there happened to be a drainage ditch in that war room that Queen Ramonda was in, except the drainage ditch did not have a cover to make sure that people did not fall inside.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of weird things that happen in the scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though she takes a direct hit from a water bomb, Ramonda is able to save Riri from drowning, but then she drowns for some reason. It didn't really make sense to me. But I guess the story needs Ramonda to die and for Riri to be alive.
I read somewhere that like her dying was the catalyst for her thirst for vengeance or something.
Yeah.
And she needed to go through that arc to be the ruler of like Wakanda that Wakanda needed her.
I just feel like it would have made more sense for Riri to try to have saved her. But she couldn't, it was too late or something like that, rather than the other way around, but then also she dies.
Yeah.
And then did you notice the when they were doing CPR on her, like they were doing it completely wrong. It was like way up here, like way too high on her chest. Like maybe that's not why. Maybe that's why it's not working.
It's like, damn, Griot, like where were you to tell them they're doing it wrong?
Exactly. So Namor tells Shuri that she's queen now and flies away. And then,
that was I really liked that delivery.
Yeah.
And he was like, bury your dead.
That was cold.
Yeah, it was cold. It was like, I told you I would do this.
Yeah. Then there's a funeral for Ramonda. And it was, I just have a note. Shit, there's still an hour left. Elsewhere at Casa del Ross. Elsewhere at Ross's place. It turns out that Valentina had bugged the Kimoyo beads and has known everything Ross has said to Ramonda this whole time, and she arrests him.
How do you bug the Kimoyo beads?
I don't know. How do Kimoyo beads work?
I mean, that's true. Yeah.
How do they fix someone's spine and act as a communicator?
Fair.
Shuri uses a bracelet that Namor gave her, something we kind of skipped over before, but it's made from the plant. that made the fish people, their heart-shaped herb or whatever. We skipped over that before. It seemed dumb that he gave her that as a token of appreciation for being the first human or non-fish human to visit Talokan.
Oh, that was why he gave it to her?
That's what he says, I think.
Oh, I totally missed that.
Yeah. So, but I'm like, but he doesn't want people there. So I don't know why they rewarded her other than so that she could have this to move the movie along later on. But it was extra stupid because Shuri reasons now that since the plant grew in vibranium-rich soil, it might have something, not real science, similar to the heart-shaped herb.
Right.
Something about T'Challa's DNA as well. And I think I willfully ignored this part. I tried.
Isn't that why the Fly 2 failed?
Yes. And then I don't know who makes these decisions. This probably is going to mean nothing to you. It's going to mean nothing to anybody else listening, I'm sure.
Yes.
But do you know what a mortar and pestle is?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, are you talking about the circular
like
one?
The toroidal one. It's like a donut-shaped mortar and pestle. Like, why? How is that an improvement? Why would you have that?
It's made it stylish, I suppose.
I guess so. I'm like, if somebody knows different, if that's like a real lab tool and it's used specifically for something, please email me and let me know. Because I was like, that must have been a pain in the butt to make. Anyways.
It's one of those design within reach mortar and pestles.
So there's a bunch of fake science talk between Shuri and Riri. I specifically did not write down details. I didn't want to deal with it. Sorry if I'm letting anyone down. I'm sure nobody has said that. I'm not going to rant more on it. And then let's see. Oh, then they reason that if they dry out Namor's skin, he will be weakened. So Shuri gets to work on the heart-shaped herb, and Riri makes a new Ironheart suit.
Oh, there is that mortar and pestle was real. It's $245.
But
it's called the Tondo mortar and pestle.
Why? But why?
Don't know.
Is this sold by like a legitimate lab company, or is this like some it's
sold by a design company?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what to say.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off.
It's okay. So Riri makes a new Ironheart suit. She said she spent years making the original, but I guess making a new and improved one can be done in like an afternoon. How long did
her original suit got messed up, right?
Oh, maybe it got salvaged. Maybe it was just an improvement on that.
Well, no, I thought, that's what I was thinking to begin with.
They got her car back later. Remember? So
from the water, but like, how did they get her suit? Because didn't the government take her suit?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I don't remember what happened to her suit.
Yeah,
I guess if the suit didn't end up in the water, then yeah, the government must have taken it. Shuri also puts the finishing touches on new suits and spears for Okoye, Nakia, and Ayo. which
By the way, I hated those.
it wasn't good. they looked like
I was like,
they looked like a cross between Abe Sapien from Hellboy and the Zora from Legend of Zelda.
yeah, they were pretty terrible.
Yeah.
They should have just given Nakia and Riri the heart-shaped herb,
Oh
and
This
then
just had, like,
they should
an
have just given it to
army of-
Okoye and Nakia actually,
yeah.
not Riri.
Definitely not Riri, but yeah, that would have been awesome to have like 3 Black Panthers.
They should have had 2. I also hated Shuri as a Black Panther.
I came around.
Now you know how to fight.
I came around
Like-
on that. We will get to that. I
Okay.
don't know how she knows how to fight. Maybe the heart-shaped herb makes you know how to fight too. So with some help from Nakia and Riri, Shuri ingests the synthetic heart-shaped herb and becomes the next Black Panther. I really did like that she didn't see T'Challa for multiple reasons. Mentioned it before, but it would have been super
Yes.
lame if they had a CGI Chadwick Boseman.
Yes.
But also, I thought it was cool that she sees Njidaka because she's filled with vengeance.
Yes.
And that's
I thought that was a masterful twist.
yeah, that was a really nice touch.
Yeah.
Another highlight of the movie, I would say. Not necessarily that whole scene, but that was who she saw for those reasons.
Yep. And then she hid it
Yes.
because she was scared what people would think.
Yeah. When she wakes up, she tells Nakia she didn't see anyone and that she failed, but it clearly did work because she super rage punches a mannequin across the room. She suits up and pops into a meeting going on at the Jabari's place to let everyone know that there's a new Black Panther in town. And M'Baku needs a little convincing to go after Namor and his fish people, and she kind of bullies him into it.
You're skipping over my only good scene
Oh, go ahead.
with Shuri as the Black Panther.
Go for it.
When she jumps down and then M'Baku just arm wrestles her to prove that that the Black Panther was back.
I don't remember that.
You remember? Because they're having this tribal meeting.
I do, yes.
Yeah. And then she flies in and then she drops down through the hole, like through the mountain, lands. And everyone's like, oh shit. Like she's got the Black Panthers back. And then Baku decides, like, let's see if let's see how real that is. And he like arm wrestles her and she's basically holding her own and then wins
Nice.
the arm wrestling. But that was like the only time I enjoyed Shuri as the Black Panther. The rest of the time I was like, ugh.
So Nakia warned Shuri not to go to war for vengeance.
See, that's why Nakia should have been Black
Yeah.
Panther. They
Yeah.
should have given her the herb.
I know. I really don't know why she wasn't. She's great.
Her and Okoye, if they had given Okoye and Nakia the black,
I would have been
the
fine
herb.
if it was even just Okoye. That would have also been
Yep.
a totally acceptable Black Panther. The Wakandans lure the fish people out to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean with a vibranium detecting machine, which if they just rigged that with explosives, then they could have taken out all the Atlanteans when they got close to it.
that was my biggest gripe. It's like, okay, did the Wakandans just not ever watch any naval battle in the movies? It's
Apparently
like
not.
they could have depth charged the crap out
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
Atlanteans. Right?
They could have wrapped this up pretty quick.
Yeah.
But instead, there's a lot of movie left. A big fight breaks out. The Wakandans have a big ass ocean liner or something. And the fighting here was a little too fantastical for my taste. But I had two questions. Why don't the Atlanteans try to sing the Wakandans into the ocean like they do with everybody else?
I think maybe they assumed that they all had earplugs into.
Maybe, because that was my next question was like, why weren't the Wakandans wearing earplugs to prevent from being
Right?
sing tranced into the ocean?
They're playing 3D chess checkers.
So you had some thoughts on the new Ironheart suit.
Oh, yeah. I hated it. It just looked like it was made out of plastic. It looked like it was
It does have
it
that
looks like the
plastic look,
visual
yeah.
effects person that built it got fired from the Power Rangers movie that I think happened just before that, and they decided to bring that guy on, and it just looked, eh.
It does look.
It
It
was-
does look kind of plasticky. You're right. I agree with you there.
Yeah, it looked like it wasn't finished.
Other than looking plasticky, I thought that the look of it was cool. I didn't think it was awesome, but I thought it was decent.
Yeah.
But I do have this might be my pettiest gripe yet, and this has to do with the suit. When Riri blasts off in the suit going after Namor, she's like, "Woo!" and shaking her head, right?
Yeah.
They first show it from outside of the suit, and the helmet shakes back and forth. And then they cut to inside of the suit, and she's shaking her head, but the heads-up display isn't moving. So the helmet isn't moving, right?
Right.
So that was a little nitpick I had there. Griot pitches in, catching Namor in a Wakandan ship, and Black Panther Shuri jumps in to confront him. Then they start to dry out Namor with pervaporation cells.
Yes. Also, why didn't they take a spear before they trapped him in there?
That too. Yeah, would have been a smart move. Guys, Google shit before you finalize your script, please. Pervaporation cells use a membrane to separate volatile components from solutions. That's not what's going on here. They're just making it hot and dry in the cabin. Why not just like heaters and dehumidifiers on, or better yet, don't say anything, because it looks hot and dry in there when they show these cells, right?
Right.
So show, don't tell.
Hit him with 5 Dyson hair dryers.
There you go.
At the same time.
That'll work. It didn't even look like it was working though, because he's super sweaty. Nothing's drying out. Yeah. And now that Namor's been captured, they want to retreat back to Wakanda. I don't know. That was weird. As they're leaving, one of the Atlanteans blows up the sonic emitter on the underside of the boat that had been keeping them away from the boat or something. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's not. Not a lot of consistency here. Then the fish people capsize the boat by exploding a bunch of water bombs, still dumb, underneath it. It bothers me here that suddenly everyone calls Shuri Panther, even though she just became Black Panther and no one ever once called T'Challa Panther.
Like, I feel like they were trying too hard to make her, to make it feel like she deserved it, when I felt like she hadn't deserved it, done anything to deserve it. Because the whole time she's just whining.
Yeah.
About needing to get payback and whatnot.
Yeah.
Which I get, like in Civil War, whatever they did to have T'Challa handle and maintain and just kind of go through that whole motion of grief and vengeance in Civil War, they did it so much better there than this arc that they had Shuri go through.
Because he didn't seem like, just being a whiny kid.
Yeah. I think that's what it is like, I get that she was his younger sister and that she's younger, but like she just, I don't know. The character just handled it not so great for me. And so the whole time I was just kind of like, ugh, I wish Okoye was the Black Panther. Yeah. I wish Nakia was the Black Panther. Queen Ramonda as the Black Panther would have been awesome.
Oh, yeah. Okoye, Nakia, and Ayo all suit up in their new Wakandan suits. I had been thinking that the movie wasn't nearly as bad as I remember, but the rest of the scene just tanks the movie for me. Namor stabs...
You don't like the Midnight Angels? What?
Namor stabs the floor of the ship, and Griot says it's catastrophic damage. Like a small hole in the floor of the ship is catastrophic.
Yes.
He says Namor's spear is made of raw vibranium. The ship could explode at any minute. Okay. Why? And also, isn't raw vibranium super unstable? Like, isn't that why they needed the magnetic whatever things to stabilize it in the mines in the first Black Panther movie?
Yep.
Regardless, they make a beeline for the desert shore while Shuri fights Namor for a bit. By the way, he doesn't seem weaker at all. Then the ship explodes over the beach, raining down debris, as well as Shuri and Namor. While that's going on, there's a big fight on the overturned ship. I don't even know if it's overturned. It's hard to tell. The top and bottom look the same to me.
Yes.
I couldn't tell if they flipped it back over or not. Shuri and Namor fight on the beach. What's going on with her suit? It doesn't seem to reliably do the energy storage and release thing.
I don't know.
I feel like
there's nothing consistent about her suit compared to, I get it's a different suit, but it didn't seem to follow the same things, because she should have been able to whoop Namor.
Yeah.
I mean, if she was a fighter, she should have been able to whoop Namor pretty good. But then, like, also, she's never been a fighter, and this guy's been fighting for like how many thousand years, or
that's
a couple hundred years?
Yeah. Yeah.
So she did rip his wings off of his foot.
Yeah.
One of his feet.
And some feathers came off too. That was,
yep.
That kind of made me wince a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's see. They're fighting on the beach. I don't know about you. I felt bad rooting for either one of them here. I was like, this is what racist white people want, for brown and black people to take each other out. And I was just like, I don't want either one of them to lose,
I mean, I would have been okay with Namor being head of Wakanda.
Yeah. I mean,
Shuri was getting on that much. There was that much getting on my nerves
yeah.
around then.
And in the end, I guess it works out.
Yes.
But not yet.
Well, I mean, she sees her mom in the middle of the fight, also randomly,
I don't remember
which
that.
never.
Oh, I do
Yeah.
remember that. Yes, I do remember that.
And she was like, show him who you are.
Yes.
And I was like, wait, what?
Namor stabs Shuri through the gut with his spear. Then he walks towards the water because he's getting all dried out. She breaks the spear off and then confronts Namor one last time and then roasts him with the ship engines.
That was pretty brutal.
It was pretty brutal,
and
but
brilliant.
He looked okay, pretty much, considering it should have been a lot worse. And then there's still almost 30 minutes left. She's standing over Namor and she thinks about the entire movie, basically. There was something useful for the commentary here. The one useful thing they said, that flashback sequence where she's seeing everything in the movie, they said it was inspired by Come and See, which is some anti-war movie. I haven't seen that. It's been on my list for a long time or something to watch. I got to get to it.
Heard of it.
That was obviously not the first time I've heard of it, but it had been recommended elsewhere. And I was like, oh, I should check that out. It's supposedly a tough watch though. Not like tough watch like this, tough watch like gory and like violent.
Like the beach landing, the beach storming scene.
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan.
Shuri tells Namor to yield and Wakanda will protect his people's secret and she will let them live. He yields and it seems like this whole movie could have been avoided. They just did that earlier. Namor calls off his people and everyone goes home.
I was sort of hoping that the Midnight Angels and the Ironheart costume were going to merge into like a super robot, but it never happened.
It wouldn't have been any dumber. Life goes on in Wakanda. Shuri plants some of the new heart-shaped herb. It does look more blue here than it did in the Black Panther 1 movie. It was more purple there. I guess because it's based on that other one that is blue.
It's just a synthesized version of the heart-shaped herb.
Right.
Heart-shaped herb that was also partially synthesized from the other root.
And T'Challa's blood.
Yeah, and T'Challa's blood, yeah.
Or DNA or whatever. So let's see. Shuri also had Riri's car fixed. We probably didn't mention that it got wrecked earlier. I also don't really care. Then there's the ceremony where someone could challenge the Black Panther. And then M'Baku shows up and challenges for the throne. Shuri's not there. And it was unclear to me. And this is where I was really hoping for some information in the commentary, which I did not get. Did she un-Black Panther herself, and now M'Baku is going to be Black Panther, which I'm totally down for?
He also would have been an awesome Black Panther.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I remember he stepped off, right? And he said that she's not coming.
Yeah. And then he's like, I challenge for throne. I'm like, well, who are you challenging? There's nobody here. So
yeah, I was confused by that too.
If he wants to be king or whatever, I'm fine with it. He can be the next Black Panther. Meanwhile, one of Namor's people basically says that he's weak for bending the knee to Wakanda, but then he straightens her out.
Yep.
He seems to think Wakanda will need them someday. I hope they don't come back. I don't want to see more of this.
You hope the Wakandan, the Atlanteans will come back?
Nah, we don't need it. That's just my opinion. Maybe
Where were they during Secret Wars?
Yeah, that too. We tie up a loose end with Ross, who's being transported to some prison, but Okoye gets him out. And this ending continues to drag on. Shuri goes to see Nakia in Haiti. She does the ritual thing that she was supposed to do before, where she burns some of T'Challa's garbs in order to move on. We see a lot of Black Panther 1 clips, and then finally we get credits.
Yep.
And then we have a mid-credit stinger. Picks up right there on the beach. Nakia introduces Shuri to her son Toussaint. This is T'Challa's son.
I love that kid. He was so smiley.
Yeah, he was good. He was good choice for actor.
Yeah.
He says Toussaint is his Haitian name. His Wakanda name is Prince T'Challa, son of King T'Challa. And I don't know if that was for the stupid people in the crowd who hadn't figured it out. Pretty obvious to me, but Nakia said that his father had prepared them for his death. Did no one else know in Wakanda know that T'Challa had a son? super confused.
It sounded like no. I mean, actually, no. She said that the queen did.
I don't understand why the secrecy.
I don't know. Maybe to protect him and let him live like a normal life before he
That's fair.
ascends the throne.
That's fair. Yeah, you don't want him to be like a spoiled little shit.
Like Shuri.
Yes. Then you get the text on the screen dedicated to our friend Chadwick Boseman. I'm still bummed, and I probably always will be.
Yeah.
All the things that could have been.
He hits you again, like every time you see him in any of the tribute murals and stuff that's all over the movie.
Yeah. Then we get not really a stinger, post-credit stinger. It just says Black Panther will return, and I hope it's M'Baku or Okoye or Nakia and not Shuri.
Yes, I am in agreement with you there.
So, would you like to take first crack at changes we'd like to have seen?
Ooh, that was going to be long. I do want to preface this by saying I did like a lot of things about the movie.
Yes.
Like the background music. I thought the background music was great.
Yeah.
I thought the costumes, with the exception of the Midnight Angels, the costumes and the fashion was like, just like, man, Wakandan fashion should be on runways. I thought they were.
Do you think I could get away with it?
The Queen wore, huh?
Do you think I could pull that off?
Not me, not me or you, but I do think that Queen Ramonda's like outfits were like awesome. What do you call it? The Queen, M'Baku, I just loved them. Who was the other person that Okoye? I also liked a lot. There was a lot of people to like, and it's kind of was painful to me that Shuri. I disliked Shuri as much as I did, and she was supposed to be like the heart of the whole movie. I think because that just kind of fell flat for me. But yeah, I would have. I feel like I would have printed up the heart-shaped herb and given it to Nakia and Okoye.
Yeah.
Then you could have skipped the whole Midnight Angels outfits.
That's right.
And they could have just been.
She got enough Black Panther suits, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like the Black Panther doesn't always have to be the king or the protector of Wakanda. It could be just the protector.
Right.
And so I don't think it has to be Shuri per se.
In Civil War, that was the case, right? Well, his father was still alive anyway. His father was the king and clearly not still Black Panther.
Yep. Yeah. Riri, I feel like I really do liked her in the comics, but for whatever it was, the writing just didn't do her justice, and the lines she had were just kind of comical here. And I really hope they fix that for the series, because they're giving her own series. So I really hope that they do a good job there. Is that coming out
this year? I think might be. It's coming out this year. I think like July or something.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I just thought the Ironheart suit deserved more than to look like a Power Rangers reject. I also wouldn't have killed Queen Ramonda for sure. That's one of my biggest things. I would not have killed her. If I could make a change, I would have kept her alive. I think that's about it. Those are like my biggest gripes, I think. Yeah, the Midnight Angels design. I don't understand how you make the Black Panther suit so minimalist, so elegant, and tech loaded, and then you come up with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair complaint.
It looked like the less smart technologist in the lab decided to 3D print them.
Well, it's like all the options, do all the things.
Yep.
So I would start with, I would go back in time and have Chadwick Boseman get regular colonoscopies starting in his early 30s. There would probably be some ironic fallout from that, though, where he never would get the Black Panther role and would be stuck with Will Smith instead.
Was he ever up for it?
No, I don't know. But I was just trying to think of somebody who I would hate to see as Black Panther. This movie is too long. They got to tighten it up, especially the denouement. Like there's just no reason for there to be another half an hour at the end of this movie. Because we ripped through that in like 2 minutes, by the way, to cover what they did in a half an hour.
Yes.
There's plenty of dumb stuff I mentioned throughout. We got Riri's differential equations line. That's got to go. Not saying anything would have been smarter than saying that. Along those lines, instead of saying the oxygen percentages, just say oxygen levels are getting dangerously low. Maybe the next line is something like, you're going to black out any second if you don't descend. Don't give altitudes at all. Don't give me anything to grab onto here. Yeah. I mean, does 28,000 feet even mean anything to the average person?
Nope.
So
I just knew it sounded high.
Yeah. Very high. While we are on the subject of Riri, she has a line where she's getting her Ironheart suit down, and she says something about there being an entire YouTube channel dedicated to sightings of her in that suit. I kind of wonder if they could have worked something in where we saw her earlier on doing something in that suit, and then you just don't really understand it until that point. But at the same time, I already complained that the movie is too long. So maybe they had something planned and never put it in or cut it.
They'll put it in the TV series, the Disney Plus series.
Probably. Change pre-evaporators to heaters or just don't say anything. And I don't think anybody should be calling Shuri Panther. And if they had called T'Challa Panther in the first one, I think I would have the same complaint there.
I just had a flashback of what do you call it? The Falcon going, "So you like cats?" when they were in trouble.
Yes. So that takes us to ranking.
Yes.
It's pretty highly ranked, actually. 84% with the critics.
84, really?
Yeah. 7.2 out of 10. 79% with the audience. 4.1 out of 5. If you look at just the top critics, as usual, it drops a little bit because they're too hoity-toity. And it goes to 75%. And the verified audience, as usual, goes up. That's 94%.
What the?
Yeah, people love this movie. I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
Yeah, I don't hate it. There's a lot to love in it, just as a whole. I'm not in love with it.
Yeah.
I think it's also I want to fall in love with it, but there are things that are just dragging it down for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I do wish I liked it more.
So is it still a B to you? Is it still a B series in the B level?
Who said it was B to begin with?
Oh, okay. No, that's what I'm saying. Is it still is it still in the B tier for you after this discussion?
I never said it was in B tier to begin with. You're saying
I thought you said it was. I thought you had said earlier that you thought that it was in the B tier when you first watched it.
No. That would be really good.
Okay.
I did not like it very much the first time I watched it. Anyways, so some of this reminds me of Avatar, like the way that it looks. And that's a terrible and boring, stupid movie. That's not fair.
That ain't a good start.
Yeah, it's not fair to this movie, but it does kind of affect how I feel. I do think it's interesting because neither side is really right, other than not letting Whitey get a hold of vibranium. So I think there's a lot of interesting things in this movie. And I think I've come around on Shuri being Black Panther for this movie specifically. She made the synthetic heart-shaped herb. There wasn't time to do a vote or a challenge, whatever. I would have rather seen Nakia do it or Okoye, as we discussed. But she's very much
just 3D printed it. That's all they did.
Yeah, she's very much but she did all the research, whatever. Too. I feel like she kind of earned it for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And like Nakia and Okoye are kind of like supporting characters in this movie, so I get why they went with Shuri. Going forward, if she gave it up to M'Baku and he's the new Black Panther, then I'm good with this. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. So overall, I would say Wakanda Forever is a lot better than I remember. Large parts of it are pretty good. And it really does just shit the bed at the end, though.
Yeah.
So do you want to have a few things to say and then we'll discuss a tier?
No, because I want to know how far it shit the bed for you.
All right. So I say D tier.
Oh, okay.
Above No Way Home, below Iron Man 2. I could be talked into above Iron Man 2 and potentially low C tier. I think I could also go the other way and be talked into below No Way Home as well.
No, it's still D tier for me.
Yeah.
I was bracing myself for you to say it was like high C, and I was like, oh no,
no,
that's not where I'm at.
I mean, there's a few scenes that had the rest of the movie been better, could have put it there, but
no, for sure.
No. All right. So I'm saying I would, if it was my choice, I would do Nude number 26, I think. What are you?
Really?
I'm open to wiggle room or just playing for it to decide.
And then Spider-Man No Way Home would be 27?
Yes.
Ooh.
But
I like Spider-Man No Way Home a little bit better.
Okay. Both these movies made me mad, so
they did.
Yeah.
I would
they're
say
both more interesting than Thor: The Dark World, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. But Thor: The Dark World had the black hole grenades.
That is true. Better grenades in that movie. You make an excellent point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine to play with it and make it the new 27 and bump Thor: The Dark World down.
Okay, so
just for some
so you're playing for 27. I'm playing for 26. I think that's fair because I think that No Way Home is a lot of bad movie leading up to a decent third act, and Wakanda Forever is a lot of decent movie ending with a bad final act. So they're kind of counterparts to one another. Okay, so I'm playing for 26. You're playing for 27.
Yep.
All right, so then Infinity Saga Trivial Pursuit Poker will count, making at least one person happy.
Let's do it.
All right.
I have given everything. Let me die, saving my country and that throne. Yakin Lamam. Allow me to make this right. Make it right. I do not know if my daughter is alive or dead.
Perhaps we are being too hasty. She raised a spear against her own husband for Wakanda.
Where is her treacherous husband now? But in a place where she can visit if she wished. Mine! It's with the ancestors. I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone. Have I not given everything?
I'm telling you, Queen Ramonda, man, she was just so crazy awesome.
All right, but it's your turn to bid first.
I'll go with 3 for sure.
Okay. I kind of have 3, but it just doesn't matter that much. And I don't think I have 4. Yeah, I wouldn't have a 4th one anyway. I might, but I doubt it. Okay. I'm going to give it to you with 3. Enjoy this. You better get it. First question. What adversary of the Avengers is in the elevator of Stark Tower in the past with Captain America?
Oh, man. I don't know, but I think my guess was Crossbones.
Okay. I had Crossbones written down as well. I got to find the answers real quick. Okay. So I'm going to give it to you because I think it is Crossbones, but do you recall his name?
Oh, Chet. I can't remember his name. The actor is Frank Grillo.
Yeah, it's Brock Rumlow.
Yeah, Rumlow. That's what it was. Yeah.
So should I give that to you? This is for realsies though.
I think you give it to me. I think it counts because he is Crossbones.
Okay. Well, let's say maybe it won't even matter.
Yeah.
What?
I was guessing on that one.
Yeah.
That's not one of my 3.
Oh, okay. What simple and significant lesson does the Ancient One say Doctor Strange's arrogance and fear keep him from learning?
I don't remember this one.
Me either. I had no question on that. Or I had no clue on that. It's not about you.
Oh. Fair.
Let's see. What suit mode does Spider-Man activate while he carries the Infinity Gauntlet on the battlefield?
Instant kill.
You should know that one, yeah. Instant kill is correct. What large street object gets stuck in the Hulkbuster's armor, in the Hulkbuster armor's arm when Tony Stark fights Hulk?
A stop sign?
A stop sign?
It was a sign of some sort. It was stuck in his arm.
It's a traffic light pole.
Oh, traffic light pole.
I had light posts written down. All right, I'm going to give you one. Half for that and half for Crossbones. You better get one more.
Okay.
What game? Oh, you got it. What game does Tony Stark teach Nebula as they drift through space?
Football.
What kind of football, George?
Paper football?
Even though it was with aluminum football, clearly. Yes. Paper football is
paper
the answer.
triangle football.
Yeah.
Does it have other names?
And you got your 3, but last question. What type of ants form a raft for Ant-Man to use while breaking into Pym Technologies?
Tiny ones. I don't know.
Fire ants.
Fire ants? Yeah.
I did not know that one either. You know, actually, I was like, is it fire ants? Like, no, that'd be dumb. Why would it be fire ants?
I thought they were the other ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a few different types of ants mentioned, but all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give that to you because you definitely. I feel like you almost got 4, but all you needed was 3. So that makes Black Panther: Wakanda Forever the new number 27. Is that correct? Kicking down.
It kicks Thor down. Thor the Dark World down.
All right, that's fine. I'm good with that. I'm not mad.
We're gonna be down in this tier when Quantumania.
Oh God, we might be in. we might have a second F tier. We'll see.
I was a little worried when you said, "Oh, it wasn't that bad when I watched it."
We are in the dregs of the MCU. I'm not looking forward to Quantumania, nor the Marvels, nor I think there's one more there that's also not good. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just those 2 coming. Anyways, stay positive.
Yeah.
That's it for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and that's it for Phase 4 of the MCU. Next up for Series 1, Phase 5 kicks off with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, unfortunately, from February 17th, 2023. Not unfortunately, that's from the date. Unfortunately, that movie is what we have to review next. But we're going to take a little break because we're not in a hurry to get to that movie. Then the next episode that we're going to do for the show will be MCU adjacent, and it will be Dread from 2012.
Yes.
Then we'll get back to the MCU.
Which I have to say, travesty that there isn't a Dread 2 yet.
I have a hot take on that. You'll have to wait for that episode.
Oh, okay. All right.
If you want to contact us, you can email us at absolutelythebestpodcast@gmail.com. Join our Discord. There's a link in the show notes. We also have links there to our socials and a couple ways you can help support the show. Please leave us a review. Please help us spread the word. Tell your fishy friends, tell your fishy grandma, and tell your fishy friends' fishy grandma. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.
Absolutely the Best Podcast is a production of Audio Johnny, a subsidy of Corporation Johnny. Corporation Johnny. If it exists, we own it.
You haven't made fun of me yet.
Huh? Without the beard?
Yeah.
It took a little bit. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's how I met you anyway.
Yeah. I botched trimming it, and it just escalated from there. And I was like, I got to just start over. It happens.
It happens. All right. I'm just getting your notes into view.
All right. I don't think I have any pictures in this one, do I? No. Majors
You didn't even have
Major's
pictures
gonna be
of the
disappointed.
stellar improvements to the CGI fights.
No, I suppose not. That would require a comparison. I think I had something. Maybe I'm thinking of Dread. I think I had something, and then I was like, this is not worth it. Anyways, all right, I'm ready when you are.
All right, on 3, 1, 2.
All right, back at it. When his mom died, Namor had promised to bury her in the soil of their homeland. Are you eating, you motherfucker? You better be using your mute switch.
I am on mute. That's why you didn't hear it.
Okay. Well, the Zoom filters it out anyway, so I don't hear it until I'm editing. I'm like, God damn it. Where was I? Do you want to talk real quick about Daredevil again? Are you caught up?
Oh, I haven't caught up yet. No, I did. Yeah, I did.
There was
because
just the two more episodes.
The tiger died, right?
Yeah, he died at the end of the second episode. You didn't see the third and fourth episodes?
I saw the Punisher come back.
Yeah. Okay, that was the fourth one.
That was the fourth one?
Yeah. So in the third episode, sorry, no, you're right. The third episode, at the end of the third episode is when the tiger got killed, right? It was mostly a like a courtroom drama, that episode.
Yep.
I liked it though. It was still good. It was really still had me engaged. And then
when you get rid of Foggy Nelson, you start liking it.
And then the fourth one was what really happened? The Punisher was there briefly. I hope he comes back a little bit more.
Yes.
There was the whole
it was
thing.
Wilson Fisk a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of Wilson Fisk.
I was laughing. He goes like the school and all the kids sing "We Built This City," right?
Yeah.
And then he goes to like a mosque and they're singing "We Built This City," but it's in whatever language. Right. That made me laugh because I hate that song.
Oh, you're not a Starship fan?
I specifically do not like that song, but I thought it was good. Oh, and at the end of the episode, they show him training. They show him Daredevil training with the rope dart.
Oh yeah. That was cool. Great.
Yeah,
that was pretty sweet.
That better come into play. So,
yeah,
I'm psyched for that.
But Vincent D'Onofrio is fucking amazing as Wilson Fisk.
Yeah.
He does it with he does it really great with whatever the gravitas or whatever that great actors bring to roles and stuff. He does it such a good job.
I really enjoy the scenes of him and his wife in therapy too.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of things unsaid that make me laugh.
Like the whole where is he now? I don't know.
Yeah.
You do know.
Yes. And we found out.
He's swimming.
We found out.
He's swimming with Namor.
No, wasn't he locked up in a isn't that the end of the episode? Like Fisk is up on the roof somewhere of some other place, or is it on a roof or is it in some building? Because it kept cutting back and forth between Daredevil on a roof training and what Fisk was doing. All I know is that he was eating dinner and there's somebody locked up in a cell there with him, like in the same room. Is that, I assume that was Adam.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't. I might have been working while I was watching it at the same time.
You should watch it again.
I might have missed that.
You should watch it again and report back.
I tend to rewatch the last episode before I watch the next one.
Oh, okay. So you saw episode 3 twice then.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Did you check out Drug Thief? That's got what's his name? Fastos. Brian Tyler.
Oh no! Is that another MCU adjacent one that's on the list?
I mean, it's just that it has that actor in it who was in Eternals.
Yeah, I've seen him in something else, but I like him. Yeah, I liked him a lot in Eternals.
It's a pretty good show. I like it a lot. It's basically these guys pretend to be FBI and steal drugs from drug dealers.
Okay.
And,
that's right. Bullet Train. He was in Bullet Train, right?
Yeah. With Aaron Taylor Johnson. Maybe we talked about that. They were the best part. Anyways. All right.
Yeah. Cool. I gotta put down my MCU adjacent contribution.
Yeah.
I know that I had a bunch.
I'm looking forward to finding out what that is. So. All right,
man.
I will talk to you soon.
Good night.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.